Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Live Strong podcast. For those who may be new here, my name is Olivia. I'm the founder and head coach of Live Strong, which is a group and personal training gym in Newcastle, New South Wales. Now, this podcast is meant to be about living a healthiest lifestyle, but it's definitely infused a bit of chaos of my own. So let's get into it. Yeah, woo! I should add that in every single time. I think we'd all enjoy if it was a jingle. I know I said I'm going to sing it one day. Today was not the day, team, but you got the jingle, so slay. Now, I hope everyone's having a fabulous week. Recording this on a Friday, uploading this on a Friday. You know, we do it all real quick here at the Live Strong podcast. And I hope you enjoyed last week's episode. Last week, I had Nath on with me and we were talking about rest and recovery. And I think it was a pretty insightful discussion. You know, he was raving on and I was listening and adding in my little 2 cents here and there. But today we're having a bit more of a fun episode, which we haven't done. Well, like they're all fun, but not something that's just a bit more lighthearted. So today we're going to be talking about my recommendations and my regrets of my wedding. Now, I've written a list. I've written 10 recommendations. I honestly could have done more. I think I will eventually maybe do more podcasts, like breaking down each part of my day and like parts that I like really enjoyed and wanted to talk sort of more about. But I've only got 2 regrets because I couldn't really think of anything, but we can talk about that when we get there. Let's talk about my week first. My week's been really good. I went away to the Gold Coast for a hens last weekend, like for a long weekend. So this time last week I was literally there. Wow, this week has gone so fast. But yeah, my high of the week was like being away, which was really nice. But on the Friday morning, I landed Thursday late-ish, and then I helped the bridesmaids set up the accommodation for the bride, like make it look cute and stuff. So we didn't get to bed till like close to midnight. And I'd already told myself that I wanted to go for a run Friday morning because one, I had to still do another run for that week. So it was like a tick off my to-do list sort of as well. But we all know how nice like the walkway is along, you know, like Surfers, Broadbeach, like as it sort of goes along the waterfront there. And I was like, don't be a lazy bitch and just get out of bed and go for a run this morning because you will feel amazing, especially when it's like a big weekend of socializing and, you know, drinking, partying, like even though it wasn't a super wild weekend, but it was something I maybe didn't really, I'd talked about it, I put it out in the universe, and then when I went to bed that night, I was like, oh my God, I could really just sleep in tomorrow, like, because the rest of the girls weren't really setting alarm, like it was going to be a pretty chill morning, but then I was like, I want to see the sunrise and blah, blah, blah. So I set my alarm and I ran, I think like just over 6K in the end. And guys, it was such a beautiful morning. Like the weekend for the hens was obviously so fun, but like that was such a highlight of my week because I got up, I slightly missed the sunrise maybe by 10 minutes. So like the sun was still rising, which was so pretty. I had a good run. I just listened to some Taylor Swift. Also, that should be a high of my week, Taylor Swift getting engaged. And then afterwards, I was quite hungry because I usually always have something before I exercise, and I didn't because I was away. But there was this little cafe on the way back, and it had like freshly made sourdough crumpets. And so I had like a sourdough crumpet with jam and a coffee, just sitting by myself, chilling, like living my Gold Coast life. Like, you know, I was one of those girls for the morning. And then I went back to the Airbnb and our weekend got underway. So that was a really big high. My low of the week, I actually just think I've been really busy this week, which has just been a bit of a, because I came back Sunday night, which was fine. I actually ended up not working Monday morning for the purpose to try and not get behind for the week. Because I knew that if I flew in late Sunday, so I would have probably been a little bit sleep deprived, having to get up at 4 a.m. after that, you know, and then the week just takes off for me. So it's like, make sure you get enough sleep, you know, try get, 7 hours sleep Sunday night, can get up, get straight into my admin for the week and then go from there. But yeah, like I just feel like I haven't got on top of anything this week. And even right now, recording this podcast, I'm like, I've had a hectic morning. I'm doing this now. I'm going to upload it. I haven't done any admin today. I've still got to go for a run today. Like, guys, literally just don't talk to me. And there's so much exciting stuff happening behind the scenes with Live Strong at the moment. Not that that's secretive, but we've got like our Live Strong games coming up next weekend, which all well and good, super fun, may not seem like a big deal, but as the organizer, really big deal. Like, so much work has gone behind the running of this event, and it better fucking not be raining. And I don't even care that I swore. Like, if it fucking rains, oh bro, I'll have the shits. And the forecast is rain at the moment. Kill me now. But anyway, that's a different story. But I'm manifesting like the sun will shine. But so that's one thing that's like a lot of organizations going into that. We're having a really big like administrative, whatever the word is, change with the gym. Haven't ever changed this in the like 6 years. In 6 years. And I haven't changed this. So it's like a really big process that I will talk about when it launches, but it's not launched yet. But shit, that's just been so time consuming. Plus, we are organising the final 8-week challenge for the gym, and myself and Phoebe, who does the social media work for the gym these days, we have been working very, very hard behind the scenes to make this the best 8-week challenge we've ever done. We've changed, I guess, the concept. We've changed everything. We're changing the vision, like, and the visuals and everything. So, whoa, there's just been so much work happening, guys. I literally cannot even tell you. It's crazy. But that's been the high and low. Anyway, I'm raving on, aren't I? Recommendation for the week. I, again, never thought of this. Oh my God, actually, I do know what I'm going to say. So, for last weekend for the hens, well, actually, let's take this back a little bit. When I was going on my hens in March, one of my really good friends, Piper, was sitting next to me on the plane. I was like, oh my God, Piper, your tan is slaying, queen. What are you wearing? And she was like, you will not believe this. It is Bali Body, that's the brand, but like gradual tanner. So it's one of those tanners that's like a moisturizer. You just put it on and then you just put your clothes on and go on with your day. And you sort of like are meant to use it every few days or so. And like essentially what would happen is that you wouldn't ever, like the tan wouldn't ever look bad, and just sort of like it's a gradual tanner. And I was like, oh my God, slay queen. So I eventually tried it. And guys, this tanner is next level. So when I went to the hens on the weekend, like I didn't even use a proper tan. I just used the gradual tanner. What I do is I actually put like a decent layer on the first time, and I usually put that on the first layer and and I'll sleep in it. But like I said, it just feels like moisturizer. So it's not like sticky or smelly or anything. Like it's like moisturizer. Go to bed in it. And then probably for like the next 2 days, I'll just put on like a light layer. Again, just like a moisturizer vibe. Like, and it does feel like a moisturizer. Like it feels like nice on your skin as well. And then after using for 3 days, I don't use it. Like that tan will last me like 10 days. It's iconic. In saying that, the tan I have on right now is like a normal Bondi Sands like tan situation, because last night when I got home I was like, great, put on my tanner because we had the photo shoot this morning. Long story. I was like, I need tan, and then it was ran out, so I had to put on an actual tan. Also depressing. I need to stop doing that tongue out thing. But Bali Body gradual tanner, you won't regret it. Not messy. Just make sure you wash your hands afterwards, otherwise you end up with orange fingers. But like, so good. Anyway, guys, let's get into the main topic for today, and let's talk wedding things, which literally feels like I got married 400 years ago. So if you haven't seen already, I did do a 2-part wedding recap when I first got married. So like a few months ago. So if you haven't listened to that, I recommend you to go back and listen to that as I sort of talk through the day and stuff. But in a quick summary, my wedding was actually perfect. I really wouldn't change anything for our day, which is why my regrets are like 2 really small things. And yeah, I wouldn't regret anything. I wouldn't change anything. The day was perfect how it was. Like, it was torrential rain in the morning, like torrential rain. But again, I actually wouldn't change that, because that led me to have a bit more of a chiller day. Everything looked beautiful in the day. Like, it was all amazing. I wouldn't say it was a small price tag on the wedding. So I think, maybe when I'm talking about things in my list that probably will be reflected as well. But I guess we wanted to do everything we wanted to do and we made it work to the best that we could, like that was sort of how we did it. But yeah, it was literally such a slay. And it does feel like a distant memory, which is sort of sad. We haven't actually got our wedding video back yet. We got an email saying it was delayed. So like in the next few weeks, very, very soon, we will get our wedding video. And I feel like that'll be a nice moment to relive it. But for now, we're going to relive it on this podcast together with my 10 recommendations I wrote down. Like I said, I probably would come up with 50. And I planned the whole wedding. And I wouldn't say like I was the best wedding planner in the world, but I do think I thought of almost everything, lots of things. I think of things in detail. I do a little bit of research, not that much, but I think I'm very realistic, like I'm never like a super stress head. Like I'm just a thinker. I'm always thinking, So I think my tips could be helpful to those out there in the world. So let's get into it. Recommendation number 1 is pick your bridal party wisely, okay? Now, I say this because this was one of the very first, when I was writing a list, I was trying to do it in order of like as I did things. So I sort of got to like the reception, the ceremony, what's it called? The reception. It was like, oh, I've got like one dot point. So we'll, I probably need to do a part 2. Let me know. But obviously this was one of the first things I did was pick my bridal party wisely. It was something that I found quite hard, I would say, because I do have a fair few close friends, but I ended up just picking all girls from like one friendship group that we have all been friends literally since we were kids. My sister was always going to be my maid of honor. Like that was never a doubt sort of thing, and these girls were always going to be in the party, but it was like, are we going to have more? And then me and Nathan didn't know if we were going to have uneven numbers. Like that was a big thing for a while, that we were going to have different numbers and stuff like that. But for me, in the end, picking my bridal party meant that I wanted to, because I know some people are like, oh, it doesn't really matter, blah, 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 blah. But to me, it did mean a lot. Like you spend over half of your wedding day just with those girls. Like the morning of the wedding, really big deal. Like you're getting ready, emotions are super high. Like you need the vibes to be high. You need to be supported. You need to be loved. And my bridal party was iconic. Like they are the best girls. That's why they're my best friends. But like the whole way through, like in organizing my hands, they went absolutely above and beyond. Even just like we had like so many like random dinners. So I was like, girls, can we come and just like chat through a few things, or trying on bridesmaids dresses? Like they wanted to be involved. They weren't over involved, so that they were like controlling or super picky. I think it's just like they're super chill. But I do think it's important to think about your bridal party. Like you need to be selfish in picking that, and they need to be people who, are going to be there for you for that day, for that whole process, and for forever. So yeah, don't rush the process. Don't think you just need to have someone just because you don't. They need to be the right people. My recommendation number 2 for my wedding was get ready away from the wedding venue. For us, it was an extra expense to do this. The night before the wedding, we ended up hiring an Airbnb, which myself and the bridal party slept at, even though we had on-site accommodation. So there was beds for us at the wedding venue the night before. They were just empty. We left them empty and we went and stayed somewhere else. The benefit of doing this was, one, the night before, even though we didn't get there to probably like 10 p.m. because we had a welcome dinner, but we literally sat around. We all love having a cup of tea. That's what we do. Cup of tea, some chockies. They gave me this beautiful book that they had got letters from all of my friends and family made in it. It was absolutely stunning. We read that and then we could just go to bed. It was so chill. There was no noise, no drama, nothing, just us in our own little bubble. It also meant the morning of the wedding, I was literally away from the venue. I couldn't see the wedding coordinator. I couldn't see people rocking up. I couldn't see them setting up anything. I couldn't see other people getting ready. Nothing. I didn't even talk to anyone from the wedding until they just walked in the door. Literally like drowned rats. I'd never forget my hairdresser, the first person to rock up at like 5:45 in the morning, looked like a drowned rat, poor little Court. And I was like, oh my God, Court, you look like a drowned rat. I hope I don't look like this soon. And I nearly did, but I didn't quite. But yeah, get ready away from the chaos. You don't need to be involved. If it's not already organized, Darla won't be organized, or someone else needs to deal with it. Get ready away. Number 3 was have a bloody wedding weekend. Like, go all out, sis. We did, and it was amazing. So, in a quick summary, me and Nath went up to the Hunter Valley on Thursday night. We stayed at that Airbnb I just talked about. So we slept there for the first night. Just the two of us. We went for a really nice dinner. That was all we did. We sort of just went up. I unpacked a few things in the Airbnb. We went for a really nice dinner in a vineyard looking over, and it was a beautiful sunset. It was stunning. And then we stayed there. The next day was the Friday. Nath went and played golf with his family because they love playing golf. My family came up and met me and we went out for breakfast together, and then me and my sister and my mum had to do a few things, like we steamed a few things and a bit of fluffing around that had to be done. But at about 1ish, we all then went to the actual wedding venue where we then had a rehearsal with the wedding party. Just a quick rehearsal. I spoke to the wedding coordinator, my person who was doing all the decorations, what they call it, a designer person. We organised all that. That all happened quite early on the Friday. We then went and got ready for our welcome dinner. We sort of had a bit of an extravagant welcome dinner, to be honest. It was a full sit-down catered meal by the chef that was cooking the wedding night. And it was table service and stuff. Beautiful, exactly what I wanted. Beautiful, long, 32-seater table. I had it decorated. It was extra. It was my vibe. Loved it. That night, actually, all of our bridal party gave little 2-minute speeches, including our mums, because our mums weren't speaking on the day of our wedding, which was their choice, which we were obviously so fine with, but they both really didn't want to speak. We were like, we'll give you this opportunity to talk if you want. And because they're both not huge on public speaking, I think it was a perfect opportunity for them to say something. They stood up there together and held hands like the romantic pair that they are. And then all our bridal party did a 2-minute speech. It was a nice event of the welcome dinner and meant that people, we had something to do. Not that you don't have anything to do because it's literally the night before your wedding, but it was just nice. It got us in the spirit of getting married and stuff like that. And then obviously it was the wedding day, self-explanatory. But because we were staying on site, we had 32 people stay on site, or have 28, I can't remember. So that meant when everyone had to leave and get off the venue at 10 or 10:30, we could still stay on site and party on. So it was an after party for us. Sunday, we actually swam in the pool. It surprisingly was warm enough to get in the pool, even though it was pissing down raining the day before. We swam in the pool. We had brekkie. We chilled out. Everyone sort of hung until lunchtime, slowly started to make their way home. And then we stayed there Sunday night still with our immediate family. So we were there up in the Hunter Valley from Thursday to Sunday. Wedding weekend, and then it lasted longer. We didn't have to rush talking to everyone. Really good. Cannot recommend enough. Number 4, if you can, do less DIY. Get a florist, get a decorator. Get these people who will do these jobs for you. Again, like I said in that little comment there, I know that's not affordable for everyone, but I do think that the extra stress of having to organize these things potentially is worth some of the money on some of the things. Originally I was going to do all the table decor, and I was like, do I really want to be lugging all these containers of shit up there, having to be setting up, making sure it's perfect, blah, blah, blah. People asking me where things go and stuff, where, like I said, I didn't have to do anything. Again, not affordable for everyone, but I think, pick and choose where you can. And a lot of florists do full setups. So even ask your florist how much extra it is for them to, set up table settings and stuff like that. Because sometimes maybe it's not as expensive as you would think. Number 5 is you need to decide who your ring bearers are going to be. We actually didn't think about this until we had our meeting with our celebrant 12 to 8 weeks out. I can't remember. And Loz was like, so who's going to have the rings? And I was like, do not know. Geordie, who was the best man, I think traditionally he would have had them, but to be honest, he would have taken the job really serious, but Would have they made them to the end of the aisle? We're not 100% sure. But we also had it slightly different because our bridal party actually sat down during our ceremony. So they weren't up with it. So I think traditionally the best man has it because he's just right there and he can just pass them straight to you. But whoever it was going to have to stand up from their seat and sort of like present them to us. So we actually got our mums to be our ring bearers. So Nathan's mum, Jenny, gave me Nathan's ring and my mum gave Nathan my ring. So they could get up, we had a little cuddle and a kiss, and then we could do the ring. So it was a really special moment and another way for them to be involved in the day, because obviously the dads have a lot of involvement, you know, especially my dad who walks me down the aisle and stuff, but both the dads were having the speeches. So that was really nice. Number 6 is go to your cocktail hour. People go and get photos for like 40 years. And yeah, like we were at our whole cocktail hour. I literally just don't even know how we could have got so many photos that we weren't in our cocktail hour. I did plan a cocktail hour to go for 2 hours. But in saying that, like we had in that cocktail hour, Geordie, the best man, and Emma, my maid of honor, they gave their speeches. So that was like a bit time consuming. We did our champagne tower, time consuming. We had a live music, you know, which is entertaining. We also had actual cocktails you could have. So by the time, like, those 2 hours went really fast. I don't feel like everyone was like hanging around waiting for the next thing to happen because there was sort of things happening every now and then. But yeah, I reckon we missed maybe 20 minutes of our cocktail hour, 20 to half an hour. So we had like an hour and a half of everyone at the cocktail hour. It meant in that time we went around and saw everyone. In the cocktail hour, we actually got photos with our extended family, and we did them all very relaxed. That was something that we chose not to do family photos. Like with our immediate family we did, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But with our like aunties and stuff, we just did them in cocktail hour in a very relaxed setting. This sort of leads into my next one, which I really loved. What we did was we signed our wedding certificate away from everyone. So you know how normally in your wedding ceremony up the front, they're like, okay, we're going to sign the papers now, and everyone sort of just sits in their chair and they sign and blah, blah, blah. And then they say, you're now married, and you walk up the aisle. We didn't do that. We did all of our vows and blah, blah, blah. Loz said we were married, blah, blah, blah. We had a kiss, we walked up. And then we actually just completely walked away. So we walked to the end of the aisle. We had a dip. I actually was like, oh my God, guys, it's not raining. It was like really cute. And then we walked away. We walked down to where there was like this little pond, like away from us on site, like a 90-second walk. Like we went that far, like people could see us, but it was so far that like people knew not to venture down there with us. And I think Loz maybe hadn't mentioned that on the mic, like don't follow them. We're staying up here where cocktail hour is. But our immediate family, so parents, siblings, and partners, that was it. No bridal party, just us went down there. Our sisters were our witnesses. So we sat in these beautiful chairs they'd already set up. We signed just with our immediate family there. We were sort of tucked away. Our signing actual location was sort of around the corner, so people couldn't see us. And then right then and there, we did our immediate family photos straight away. Because there was, I think there's 10 of us in total, or 11 with baby William, we probably did those photos 10 minutes. That whole process, 15 minutes. Walk down, signing, beautiful. Our photographer had, I think it was our videographer actually, had a boombox. We had music down there. They brought cocktails to us all down there. We got photos. But it meant we sort of had that moment to breathe straight after the ceremony. We went away. We could breathe. We were like, oh my God, we're married. This is iconic. Blah, blah, blah. Slay. And then, yeah, it was literally just the perfect little moment with our family as well. Everyone was in a good mood. And then from there, they all walked back up and we just sort of did like a little lap of walking of the venue and we just did some photos. Again, let's say that took 15 minutes. So from the cocktail hour, we were away for half an hour. We've done our family photos. We've done our photos together and we were already back at the cocktail hour and we spent the rest of the time there. Now, number 8, again, sort of leading on to this, was our bridal party photos that we just did before we walked into the reception. So we didn't actually leave the venue. We didn't leave the area. We just did it. Like people were still like other guests were sort of just walking around still, having their cocktails, slowly making their way in the reception. And we just literally did them right there. Like, super simple. Early in the morning, when we were getting ready, I'd already done one-on-one photos with the girls. We'd already done a group photo with the girls. Nathan had done the same with the boys. So we'd done like all of the intricate photos. It was just like a big photo of all of us we really needed. So we again did them really fast. We also did them, it was sort of fun. I remember it being like a really fun time us all getting these photos. Like, we're just laughing, and I don't even know if there's not one of us standing there like soldiers. They're all just like fun, like in the moment photos, which was so good. Because I don't know if this is like rude, but I'm a bit rude sometimes. But like, you don't really need 100 photos being romantic with your bridal party. Like, love them to death, but we don't need to get 70 photos of like us just standing there kissing and them standing behind us. Like, it's not really what it's about. Like, all of those romantic, beautiful photos me and Nathan need together. Our bridal party is there because we love them. They support us. They support our day and stuff like that. So, like I said, we'd already had those one-on-one photos. So, like, I knew we had photos with them. So we just needed a few big group ones where we're all in the moment. We're all living our best life. And that's what we got. Again, it meant we didn't get taken away from the cocktail hour because I wanted to be present in the day, which I really felt like I was. Number 9, we're nearly there, guys, is our DJ was actually iconic. He was the big bucks. It was Sam from Silent Shout. And there's a little like in the know. He is the person who owns Made on Sundays, which is an event that's run in Newcastle. So, and he generally is one of like the headline DJs, or he will play a set during that process. But so like, obviously it was expensive, a lot more expensive than a regular DJ. But guys, if I could pay for him every weekend, I honestly would. Like, he was a absolute highlight of our wedding. And I know that they have other DJs that work in their company that are cheaper. So, if you're looking for a wedding DJ, you want to spend a bit of money on it, Silent Shout is the account or the business, and his name's Sam. So maybe one of the other DJs I'm sure would be, close to amazing, because I can't imagine them employ anyone who wouldn't give that same vibe. But, oh my God, it was just next level. Like, I was literally eating my steak, like at the table, and we had a bridal table, so I was at the front. No joke. Next minute, knife and fork in the sky, like, ooh, ooh, ooh. There was like Taylor Swift. I'm like literally eating dinner all too well, and I'm like there singing, like swaying side to side with my hands in the sky, like while you're having dinner. Like, can you think of a wedding that you're sitting having dinner, like actually jamming? And it wasn't like overwhelming, like having dinner, like, oh my God, turn the music down. It was just like a banger would come on and you're sitting like, oh my God. And then Nathan loves Screamo. So like, we'd be on the dance floor, like listening to Sabrina Carpenter or something. Next minute, like, Bring Me the Horizon comes on. And we're like, fuck, iconic. And it just like slaps. Like, it was so good. And then, I know it's probably not a big deal, but like, I hadn't picked the final song of the night. And that's something a lot of people do. They like decide this is the song we want to end the night on. And we hadn't picked one because I was like, I don't really know. I wasn't really super fussy on the music choices. But I'd written down a list of like people we liked and concerts we'd gone to together and stuff like that. And he finished it on Green Light by Lorde. And guys, I love Lorde. Me and Nathan have gone and seen Lorde together. I've seen Lorde twice now. I'm actually going to see her again next year. Like, and when that song came on and he had like the strobes and the whole dance floor lit up green, I was like, oh my God, this is the best night of my life. Like, I vividly remember me, and I was like with my sister, well, Nathan was there as well, but like I was also with my sister Emma, and we were just like jumping up and down, like, fuck, that was so good. So every time that song comes on now, I'm like, turn it up, bitch, turn it up. Such a slay. So invest in good music is the moral of the story. It creates the whole vibe. Like, that reception vibe is depicted on whatever that music situation is. Even if it means that, you're a musician or someone's playing music from their phone when you're having dinner, like, just really think about what is going to happen in creating that vibe, because it needs to be iconic. And yeah, I think anyone who's at my wedding will say our dance floor was like next level. I literally danced on the dance floor so long, like the whole time. I was like, another moment, I was on the toilet. I think this might have been the first time I go into the toilet. Oh no, I went one other time. Second time I got in the toilet. Sitting on the toilet and Alt Ego comes on, which is like, I first fell in love with it on Drag Race like last year or whatever. And it's like just the biggest, sassiest like boss bitch song. I'm sitting on the toilet enjoying my moment of peace, you know, like I haven't sat down, I've been dancing, like, you know, whatnot. Comes on, I literally fly off the toilet. I don't even know if I washed my hands. Like I was in a moment of blur. I sprint down the dance floor because it was at the back of the dance floor. I was like, I love this song. Like that was my vibe. It was hectic. Anyway, DJ, Stand from Silent Shouts, big slay. The last thing that I'm going to recommend, like I said, I could have recommended so many things, guys, but was our content creator. We had Lucy. I think her name now is Weddings by Lucy, or she used to be called Reels by Lucy. But a content creator essentially is someone who comes and films content, like little videos on an iPhone. So it's not professional content, but it's obviously someone who understands good lighting and good angles and, you know, has a very new iPhone, so it's good quality still. We all know that iPhones can capture good share. And a few reasons I'd recommend it. One, it is affordable. I feel like for her, maybe it was like $800. I know $800 is a lot, but like when you're paying thousands of dollars, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for a videographer, $800 is cheap, okay? So pretty reasonable. So much content. She's with you all day. Like we had her for like 10 hours. All day. She got from getting ready to partying on the dance floor all day. She gets all those little details because she can do it so fast. Where I think with a videographer, which I'm sure, like I said, we haven't actually got a video back yet, but I'm sure with his content as well, like, you know, it's really important with a good camera. They're getting good lighting and all these sorts of things, changing lenses and stuff. Like she's just there like 2 seconds, like zooming in. It could be the shittest video, but like at least like she can still get it very easily on her phone, right? So much. I think we got like 700 videos. In saying that, most of them are like 3-second videos, but it's showing a moment of the day. You get all that content literally the next day. The day after the wedding, we were there with everyone on the Sunday looking at these videos. Like iconic. So if you're someone who maybe doesn't want to pay for a videographer, I highly recommend getting a content creator. There's heaps of them around now, but Lucy was so good. She was so chill. Like she had to lace me up into my second dress. I messaged her a few weeks before. I was like, Lucy, I hope you don't mind, but like I need someone. The other videographers and photographers were boys. I'm like, look, they probably don't want to be like looking at my butt. You know, maybe they do, but you know, like I was like, I need someone who's just like gonna definitely be there at that time because it was a random time all getting changed. Can you help me? She's like, go off sis, let's do it. And she's in there like lacing me up and I'm like, oh my God, you're a lifesaver. So yeah, she was amazing. Couldn't recommend her enough, but content creator, especially if you're doing maybe you want to cut some budgets, but you want to get like, not even like she also created us 3 reels. Like she put them into like little reels that were like 30 seconds or a minute long. I can't remember, to music, which were vibey, amazing, loved it, creative, but like they were good, but the actual overall content that she got of the day was just like what you wanted. Like, and she even had little camcords, like vintage footage, like so good, so good. So they're my recommendations, guys. Now I'm going to move straight into my regrets because I know I'm raving on and literally I've got so much shit to do. So we're pumping it out here at this point. But my first regret was worrying too much about the small stuff. I think that going into the day, I think this is like a regret, but also not, because like if I didn't worry about the small stuff wouldn't have happened. But like just really little things that I was just worried about. Like, I don't know, even just like I was buying so much shit off like Shein and stuff. Like, I'm like, you've literally like, you need a ring box, buy a ring box and just be done with it. Like I bought like 8 different ring boxes, but I'm like, no one even saw the ring box. I don't even know the ring boxes went, you know, like shit like that. So I just think don't sweat the small stuff. It all works out in the end. Like easier said than done, but I can't even think of any small stuff that I was stressing about, but just like everything, like, oh, will the dress be steamed enough and stuff like that? Like, who fucking cares? You're going to sit down in the dress anyway. Like, stuff like that. Or even like my hair, which obviously is a big deal, but like, I wanted my hair differently originally, but it was so wet and gross. I was like, I need to put my hair up because you don't want to get to the aisle and you look like a drowned rat. At least when my hair's up, I'll look clean. That was just sort of where my thought process went. But I was like getting so worked up about changing my hair and it was going to be perfect. I'm like, in that moment, I should have just been like, it's not that big of a deal. You wear your hair up every single day. You've worn your hair slick so many times. It's not the end of the world. Like stuff like that. So I think just everything isn't that big of a deal. And honestly, guys, no one actually even cares about your wedding. Like there's a small handful of people who care. And most people don't. Like, yeah, they want to come and love and support you and stuff and enjoy the day, but like they're not thinking about what ring box you are having. Like, like no one even cares. And my second regret was sort of, I guess, going to the same thing, but was spending so much time on like the schedule or the timeline for the day. I was consuming a lot of content on TikTok and podcasts and stuff where people are like, you need to have a schedule down to the minute, otherwise the day gets away from you, you miss things you want to do, you lose time, you miss photo opportunities, you miss all this sort of stuff. So my schedule was pristine, like to the dot point. I had gone through the schedule with my family. They sat down in this lounge room and I ran them through the whole day. Then another time we went through the bridal party. I sat them down in the lounge room, ran through the schedule. I'd sent them to all of our vendors multiple times, made sure that any changes they were aware of. Like I was a bit of a Nazi with the schedule. But guys, on the day, it rained and my schedule changed and my day was perfect. And so I think that I was getting a bit stressed about everything running on time. And even when we were potentially going to change some of the speeches that were outside to be inside because of the rain. In the end, it didn't rain at the cocktail hour. It was sunny. It was like people were getting hot. People were fanning themselves. So we didn't need to change anything. But I was like, okay, like Sam, who was our MC, our beautiful friend Sam. I was like, Sam, we might need to change this. He's like, Liv, we'll deal with it when it happens. Like sort of thing. Like, I'm not stupid. Essentially. When I'll know when I need to change something or and I was like, honestly, it's so true. I'm stressing over, them starting the speeches at bloody 3:52 when I'm like, if they start the speeches at 4:00, am I going to die? No, like stuff like that. And the day ended up running smoothly. I do think both of those points, I can only say that in hindsight because I did them. Potentially, if I didn't have a schedule and I wasn't thinking about all the things, I'd be sitting here saying the opposite. I wish I had more of a schedule and I wish I'd thought more of the small things. So I think there's sort of that fine line. I also think that it was very helpful. Like I said, we didn't really skimp out on anything, guys, if I'm going to be honest. So all of our vendors were top tier. They're all really good at their job. So I think they made sure the day ran really smooth, even if it was off the schedule that we had originally planned for. So I think if maybe your vendors weren't as good, I've heard of so many stories of vendors being a bit lazy, a bit careless. Maybe my day wouldn't run like that. Same with thinking about the small stuff. Like I think all my vendors, they had communicated with me everything I needed to think about for their job. And so even other really small things I originally hadn't thought about, they were all over it. So yeah, I think I can say that in hindsight. Which is why I'm saying there's no regrets. Literally none. Like even the rain, like I said, it made me chill out. The rain made me chill out, which I think was a really good thing. I surprisingly was really nervous about to walk down the aisle. Like I actually thought I was having stomach pain and I took Panadol and Nurofen. I was like, guys, I think I'm getting stomach cramps. And they're like, you just and my corset was really tight. So I was like, we might have to undo my dress. Oh my God. And then they're like, you're fine. And then I was fine. Silly me, guys. Absolutely silly me. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you straight to the point. We're back on fitness content next week, but hopefully you've enjoyed this wedding little situation. If you want more wedding content, more wedding insights, please let me know because I do love talking about it. And I feel like we did lots of cool things at our wedding. Yeah, because it was really cool. Why do I keep doing that? Oh my God, that's so embarrassing, guys. I'm so sorry. Anyway, review, subscribe, comment, give me your reviews, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. And peace out, Girl Scout. Ooh. Don't know what that was. Oh my God, I need to get out of here.